when I got married to my wife, we stayed in an apartment. She was the only one working. I was diagnosed with a tumor in this shoulder. The doctor said I had 2 years to live. That's been 15 years ago.
Come on, Jesus.
He said that they would have to cut my right arm off, part of my shoulder blade and part of my chest. We staying inside this house, this apartment, and I used to try to get out and go walking to try to keep my health up. So as I go out and I started walking, there was a dumpster at the exit area where I would walk past to get to the trail to walk. And one day, I was in there watching my wife working that corner on her desk. She wasn't making enough money to pay. I couldn't really pay the rent at that point. I couldn't work anymore. I walked down one day. I saw her desk falling apart. I said, God, one day I want you to bless me with enough money to get her another desk, because I can't stand to see her work on that raggedy desk like that. I walked down past the dumpster the next day. There was a desk sitting at the dumpster. The desk was like brand new. I took that desk and I took it to my house. A few days later, I'm walking back, and I noticed I'm driving. Every time I come in, I'm tracking dirt in the house, and it's a carpet right there in the apartment. And I say, man, I got to get, this time I'm not talking to God, I'm just talking. I say, man, I got to get a vacuum cleaner. I like to say stuff out loud.
All right, say it.
I don't like to just let it just stay in my head. I like to say it. So I said, I got to get a vacuum cleaner. A day or two later, I'm walking past the dumpster. There's a vacuum cleaner sitting at the dumpster. I took that vacuum cleaner back to my house, and it worked. My son's TV went out in his room. He was 9 years old. I said, man, I got to get this boy a better TV or something for his video games, because I know he's a kid. He's the only one in the house. I walked past that dumpster about a day later. There was a big flat screen TV sitting at the dumpster. I didn't go nowhere to try to find nobody that could give it to me. I didn't go try to take nothing from nowhere. I didn't do nothing. All I did was wait on the Lord. Went to Walmart. We were standing in the aisle. I was looking up and I saw a barbecue grill called the George Foreman. At this time, it was the newest one that came out. It stood about this tall on one leg. I looked at my wife, and I was standing there looking up, and I looked at that thing and I said, whew. I sure would love to get it. It cost about $100. And at that time, $100 to me, being in the place we were in meant, man. I said, I really want that George Foreman. I said, babe, one day, I'm going to get it. She started laughing. Y'all, I walked past the dumpster a couple days later. The exact George Foreman grill was sitting at the dumpster. Like brand new. Y'all ain't hearing what I'm telling y'all right now. Y'all are not hearing what I'm saying right now. At this point, my chest is out. Now, y'all don't understand what happens when you wait on God and you begin to see God move in your life. When you can say, my daddy gonna do it. When you can say, my daddy gonna take care of this. When you start to grow faith in you, it starts to change your posture as a believer. When your waiting does not look like this. Your waiting does not look like crying. Your waiting looks like praise. No matter where I am, I'm going to give God glory. No matter what I'm going through, I'm going to give God glory. Why? Because I know He got me. I can imagine Job. And no matter what situation Job was in, Job said, I believe I'll wait. His wife said, just curse God and die. You know, that's what happens in your flesh. When you're going through and you don't have, your flesh starts to tell you, maybe back to the world you came from. Just backslide. Go get it how you live. Oh, y'all don't hear me. Y'all don't hear me. And I started to see what God was doing.
That's all right.
Me and my wife was riding home from church one night. And I said something to the extent of, baby, one day we are not going to be in a poverty place. God's going to bless us beyond where we are. And my wife said something out of her mouth that made me change my entire walk with God. It really went to another level. And my wife said, baby, say it. He hears it when you say it.
Come on.
I don't know if you know what that means for a man. When you know that you're supposed to be the head of this household. When you know you're supposed to be the priest of your house.